سبيل الدموع سبيل مريح تنهدى يا صاحي كي تستريح.
Al-Bayan Radio presents the following special presentation.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum, brothers and sisters. Welcome to Al-Bayan Live on this Monday evening, the 25th of September 2017, or more importantly, the 5th of Muharram 1439 after the blessed hijrah of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam. I am Abu Abdurrahman, and tonight on Al-Bayan Radio on the 107.9 FM in Sydney as well, we have our special guest, Sheikh Wael Ibrahim. Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
It's excellent to have you with us. Thank you for being with us.
Pleasure is mine, Habibi. Jazakallah khairan.
Wa yakum. Now, you're residing in Perth, is that right?
Yeah, recently I moved to Perth with family.
So you're a few hours behind.
Yeah, just 2-3 hours, I believe. Yeah.
Excellent. How are you finding Perth?
Beautiful, alhamdulillah. Very beautiful. We enjoy the weather. You guys should be moving there. You know, the sun is always there, mashallah.
It's a growing city as well, Perth.
Beautiful place, yeah.
May Allah bless our brothers and sisters in Perth. Now, Sheikh, the topic we have come up with for tonight is dealing with pornography. And this is a topic which some people don't like to discuss. But alhamdulillah, over the weekend you had a course. How did that course go? Protecting our homes, or protecting our hearts and homes, defeating pornography, based on your book, Beat It, 50 Plus Shades of Hope.
Yes, alhamdulillah rabbil alameen. We planned for this course for about, I think, a month or two, where the brothers contacted me and they wanted to conduct this course here. And we were a bit worried about how people will actually receive this, you know, the promotional campaign. Will actually people come and attend a course on pornography? How about those who are addicted to it? Will they actually show up? So we were directing this course to community leaders, imams, educators, parents, and about 70 to 100 persons have attended, which was a great number. We actually expected less, but alhamdulillah, we got about 70 to 100 persons
Excellent.
throughout the day. It was very interactive, and I've got a very, very positive feedback, which was something promising, alhamdulillah.
Excellent. Alhamdulillah. Now, Sheikh, our listeners can call in 9740-6160. If you're out of Sydney, at the area code 02-9740-6160, or you can leave your feedback and comments and questions on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, Al-Bayan Radio. Now, Sheikh, the question I want to ask you first is, what made you get into this field?
I never thought I would focus on this subject, but it happens about 8 years back. A person came to my office when I was in Hong Kong City. He was a very young boy of about 18 years, and he expressed actually that he wanted to commit suicide. And I was shocked, because at that age we were full of life, you know, we enjoyed everything in life. When I asked why, he said, because I'm addicted to porn. And I was like laughing, because I never thought that pornography would turn to some kind of addiction, something that overpowering the person's action. But he was shivering, he was sweating, and he was really into very, very bad emotional mood. And when I started investigating further, I saw that age group for 12 to 17 years are actually the highest in viewing pornography, and that's how I got into this field. Yeah.
Sheikh, I read a stat, according to some studies, 93% of boys and 62% of girls are exposed to pornography before the age of 18.
Yeah, that's what I just quoted, but in a different statistics, which indicated that the highest people viewing pornography are those age 12 to 17. I was in one of the countries some times ago, and I entered an internet cafe. I wanted to check my emails, send some emails, but that internet cafe has also games and all that. And while just passing by these computers, I saw a lot of kids, I think 9 to 12 years old, who were actually viewing explicit pornographic images. So it's really a dominating things in today's world. I mentioned in my book that it is more than epidemic. If I have found a word that is more stronger than epidemic, I would have used it. But the editor told me we have none.
Sheikh, now, the dangers of porn. What's so dangerous about this topic? Some may say, oh, it's no big deal. But what are the dangers of it?
Enough to say, brother, that it is addictive. And let me define the word addiction quickly. Addiction is something that gradually get hold of your own action. You will not be able to control your own action. Isn't that enough dangerous already? So addiction will start by the exposure. So you'll expose to these images. And you will feel a bit weird in the beginning. You don't want, actually, you feel, especially if you're a religious person, if you're a Muslim, you'll feel your consciousness is resisting. But immediately, a pathway will be created in your brain. And that pathway will produce chemical reactions, hormones. One of them is called dopamine. And that dopamine will be produced from time to time to remind you of the same activity. And you will keep going back again and again to that within that same cycle. The more you resist, the more dopamine will be produced. And the more dopamine is produced, the more you indulge in your activities. And when dopamine drops, you become depressed. So here is again another dangerous effect of pornography. It leads to depression, to anxiety. As a result, this young boy wanted to commit suicide, wanted to end up his life. The effects on the brain physically change. There are research now shows that actually the effect of pornography on the brain is exactly the same as the effect of cocaine and heroin on the same brain. Can you imagine? It causes divorce. I have seen divorces happen because pornography. I have seen people, children actually losing their self-esteem, their self-confidence, becoming isolated, zombies, only attached to the cell phones. They don't want to associate themselves or socialize with other people, with their family members. There are plenty, brother. We can write a whole book about the dangerous effect of pornography.
La ilaha illallah. Now, Sheikh, you mentioned there some of the effects there and the dangers. Now, it is a sin, and sin has effects as well, subhanAllah. So from that perspective as well, it's something which many people feel shy of.
Yeah.
They want to hide, they don't want to expose. So how do we balance between the one who may have this problem, seeking help, and the general principle, which is that we should keep our sins hidden?
Allah bless you. This is one of the most common actually questions that I get always. And many people are trying to keep this secret sin hidden with the misconception that I can't actually expose my sins. I can't tell somebody else about my sin. Now, there is a difference between becoming boastful about your sin and reaching out an expert to help you get out of your problem. And many a times people will come to the Prophet ﷺ and express or explain to him their struggle about certain issues, and the Prophet ﷺ will give them the necessary guideline. Like the man who came to the Prophet ﷺ telling him plainly, allow me to commit adultery. First of all, the man knew that adultery is haram. He knew. But in his question or in his request to the Prophet ﷺ, he was actually, in other words, saying that I have got a problem. And my problem was women. So the Prophet ﷺ even did not mention the word haram in this narration, if you remember, brother. The Prophet ﷺ knew that the man knew that that adultery is haram. So the Prophet ﷺ acted as a counselor here, acted as a coach by asking him powerful questions. Will you accept this to happen to your mother, to your sister, to your aunt, and so on and so forth? As a result, the man realized. So the danger of pornography also, brother, if we continue on this point, is that it will snatch your iman away from your heart. And as a result, as addiction, escalates, because addiction doesn't remain at one level. What you used to watch 10 years ago doesn't no longer pleasure you today or makes you aroused today. You need to always escalate. You need to see something more aggressive and so on. And as a result, you will end up committing adultery. You will end up committing zina, whether you like it or not. It will come to a point that you are fed up with all these images. You don't want to act behind screens anymore. You want the actual thing. And that is zina. And the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam mentioned, لا يزني الزاني حين يزني وهو مؤمن. A person at the moment of zina, he's not considered to be a complete believer. And if we lost our iman, then what else we should care about?
That's right. That's the most important thing. And subhanAllah, you remind me that when you mentioned the danger, is that these are all gateways to zina.
Absolutely.
These avenues,
introductory to zina.
And Allah says, وَلَا تَقْرَبُوا zina.
Jazakallah.
Don't even get near it. SubhanAllah.
Jazakallah khairan for this reminder, yeah.
Now, Sheikh, from the perspective of the one who has the problem, what should he do? How should he deal with this porn addiction, we can say?
Number one, the most important thing is never ever give hope or lose hope. Never ever think that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will not forgive you. Never think that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will not accept your dua. Don't, because I get a lot of messages and emails, people saying that I'm a hypocrite. You're not. A hypocrite is a person who pretend to be something else or somebody else. You're not pretending. You just lost control over certain actions. So never lose hope in the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in the Quran, قُلْ يَا عِبَادِيَ الَّذِينَ أَسْرَفُوا عَلَىٰ أَنفُسِهِمْ لَا تَقْنَطُوا مِنْ رَحْمَةِ اللَّهِ إِنَّ اللَّهَ يَغْفِرُ الذُّنُوبَ جَمِيعًا إِنَّهُ هُوَ الْغَفُورُ الرَّحِيمُ. Tell to my servant, O Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, tell those who have transgressed against themselves, who have sinned day and night, tell them never to despair from the mercy of Allah, for Allah forgive all sins. So no matter what sins you have committed in your life, Allah is capable of wiping them out, provided that whenever you err, go back and repent. One day Allah will accept your repentance and will cleanse you. So this is the first thing. Don't ever lose hope in the mercy of Allah. Secondly, reach out to someone whom you trust and confess to him your addiction, because most likely you will never be able to battle pornography on your own. This is nearly impossible. You have to work with an accountability partner, someone who will monitor your behavior online, someone who will limit your usage of internet, and so on and so forth, amongst the many other things that a person can do that I mentioned in my books.
Barakallah fiqh, Sheikh. We already have some questions which were sent, and the first question, Sheikh, is if a teenager is in absolute denial that she or he has a problem with pornography, how do we tackle the problem to educate them in a brief way?
I wish that there is a brief way or a quick fix that can help those people who deny their addiction to porn, or they think that pornography is actually is normal and everyone is doing it. The matter is more complicated than that. It's as I said earlier, it actually physically changed your brain. It physically rewired your brain, and so there is no simple solution. What I am one of my visions is to reach out schools, reach out universities, and raise awareness about the dangerous effect of pornography. Because I believe the more you know, the more you grow. The more you know about the dangerous effect of pornography, whether you're a teenager or otherwise, because this problem has no age limit. We mentioned earlier, yes, we are concerned about our youngsters, but there are many people of 40, 50, 60 years of age who are also addicted to pornography. So it doesn't know age, it doesn't know gender. There are brothers, there are also sisters who are addicted to pornography. What we need to do is to raise awareness about the dangerous effect of pornography, because once you knew the dangerous, your brain will start resisting the activity, because the brain is very smart. Immediately it recognizes the dangerous and try to defend itself and defend your entire health.
Sheikh, you remind me of a statement by Ibn Qayyim rahimahullah, who mentioned that how we should deal with shahawat, desires, is by sabr and yaqeen. And you basically mentioned some stuff there about awareness.
Yes.
And how do you get yaqeen? With knowledge, with awareness, with insight. And subhanAllah al-Azim, it's just bringing it more to the forefront that we have to seek knowledge, we have to raise awareness, we have to mention it in our circles to educate one another.
Absolutely, brother. I'm reaching out through your platform that I wish and I pray that all the Muslim organizations and even non-Muslim organizations who wanted to join us to raise awareness about this disease, I call it a disease, I would love to hear from you. I would love to see people coming on board to raise awareness about the dangerous effect of pornography.
The second half of this question, it looks like it's been sent by a mother, is also in some cases it is hard to control taking away phones, computers from teenagers. How do we prevent them from going to inappropriate sites? So they're using their tablets, they're using their phones, their PCs, their laptops. Yeah. What do we do here?
I do not recommend taking phones, taking devices, internet devices from your children. I do not recommend that, because they need it now for assignments. They need it because their other children are using it. But we need to regulate the usage at home. We need to create some policies that no child or even adult, no parents or children take their cell phones into their bedrooms. We need to use the cell phones any devices in places which are visible to everyone. So if we can come up with policies and agreement between all family members, including the children, then we will at least limit the access to these inappropriate websites. Also, there are many softwares available out there. You can download them, which can block any inappropriate website. One of the most popular is K9, letter K and number 9. This software can be downloadable, and it can send you actually a report about other devices The report is not detailed, like it will not tell you that your son is using Yahoo account or whatever. It will just tell you that there is dangerous websites being viewed, or he had viewed safe websites or whatever. But you have to like register through, after downloading the software, you have to register your email address and receive like reports on every device at home, which is something can limit the access to pornographic materials.
Since we got this question from a parent, what is some general advice for parents in dealing with pornography with their children?
I'm a strong believer in conversation now. The way how you and I, brother, been raised is totally, it's not going to work with today's generation. Back in the days, if my father looked at me in a specific way, I will just freeze in place. Now, if you give that same look to your son, he will tell you what? Yeah? Why are you looking at me like that? So the generation is different. So the only thing that actually works with today's teenagers is conversation and education and awareness. There is a book that I also recommended, although it was written by a non-Muslim, devoted Christian, but that's fine because the content is not religious, but rather also raising awareness about how to reach out these youngsters and educate them about pictures and good pictures. The book actually called Good Picture, Bad Picture. And she's teaching her son how to actually avoid looking. It's like, lowering the gaze in Islam, غض البصر, exactly the same concept, but it's written in a language that can appeal to the kids. So maybe you can purchase that book, read it to your kids, and educate them about inappropriate images. Beware, of course, of using different terms. Yani you don't talk to your kids and tell them pornography, because they might be very curious and go on the internet and search the word, and as a result, they get hooked on this monster. So rather use bad pictures, inappropriate pictures, and define them. Bad pictures meaning people may be wearing less clothes, that revealing most of their bodies. Explain to them in a language that they can understand without going into much details.
So subhanAllah, you mentioned there about lowering the gaze. So that's one of the best steps that
Wallahi,
a Muslim can do.
Jazakallah khairan, because you actually said the best explanation of the that concept, which is the best solution. The best solution. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told us, قُلْ لِلْمُؤْمِنِينَ يَغُضُّوا مِنْ أَبْصَارِهِمْ وَيَحْفَظُوا فُرُوجَهُم. Tell to the believing men to lower your gaze, because as a result you will be able to guard your chastity. And tell to the believing woman to lower their gaze, as a result also they will be able to guard their chastity. And that's the main point. Do not look at things that will arouse you sexually in a haram way, otherwise you will end up doing the fahisha, the shameful act of zina. May Allah protect our children and everyone.
Sheikh, we mentioned parents. Now, another important aspect of a child's life is school. I've heard before parents say, I done all I could do for my child. He was going excellent until we got to high school. Then he was exposed to these bad pictures and bad videos. So what's some advice we can give to the teachers and the schools, especially the Muslim schools, which are many today?
There are some proposals that took place, I think, in America, where people are pushing to actually come up with a curriculum to educate the children about the dangerous effect of pornography in schools. This is something maybe people would think it's too difficult. Kids have a lot of things to study, but there are other people in the community, and I'm aware of different people who are working in that field who could actually go to the schools for professional development training. They can educate the teachers on how to deal with pornography addiction. Counselors at school need to learn how to deal with it, because the kids at school will come to the counselors and express their feelings. I have a problem about that. I have a problem about this. Most likely you would express your addiction to pornography or any problem to strangers than going to your parents and telling them, hey, I have a problem about pornography. So the counselors, the teachers, always at school there is one teacher who is the favorite to some of the students. They will come and open up to you. So teachers need to get the proper training on how to deal with this. Counselors at schools, school management need to invest in bringing experts to discuss this matter openly. I myself, I have developed already 2 workshops, one workshop for teachers and one workshop for students to raise awareness about this. So I hope and I pray that schools will take that step forward and invest in educating the masses.
Jazakallah khair, Sheikh Wael. We're going to get to our first break and come back for more of Al Bayan Live with our special guest, Sheikh Wael Ibrahim, discussing the critical topic of dealing with pornography. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Never miss another original Al Bayan radio program by subscribing to our podcasts on Apple devices and on Podbeam for Android devices.
أنت الحياة فلونها ونميها، أخلص لباريها واسمح لنفسك أن ترقى معاليها حتى تزكيها. أنت الحياة فلونها ونميها، أخلص لباريها واسمح لنفسك أن ترقى معاليها حتى تزكيها. بالتقوى تلونها، بالإيمان تبنيها، بالمعروف تحرسها، بالقرآن تحميها. بالتقوى تلونها، بالإيمان تبنيها، بالمعروف تحرسها، بالقرآن تحميها. لون حياتك إحسانا لمن فيها، لون حياتك وارغب لربك واعمل صالحا فيها. لون حياتك، لون حياتك إحسانا لمن فيها، لون حياتك وارغب لربك واعمل صالحا فيها. أنت الحياة فلونها ونميها، أخلص لباريها واسمح لنفسك أن ترقى معاليها حتى تزكيها. أنت الحياة فلونها ونميها، أخلص لباريها واسمح لنفسك أن ترقى معاليها حتى تزكيها. بالتقوى تلونها، بالإيمان تبنيها، بالمعروف تحرسها، بالقرآن تحميها. بالتقوى تلونها، بالإيمان تبنيها، بالمعروف تحرسها، بالقرآن تحميها. صل الصلاة إذا نادى مناديها، لون حياتك تزيد روحك إيمانا وتحييها. لون حياتك فتغنمي الدنيا والجنة العليا. لون حياتك لك الإله مجيد العرش بانيها. أنت الحياة فلونها ونميها، أخلص لباريها واسمح لنفسك أن ترقى معاليها حتى تزكيها. أنت الحياة فلونها ونميها، أخلص لباريها واسمح لنفسك أن ترقى معاليها حتى تزكيها. بالتقوى تلونها
Follow and like Al Bayan Radio on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. Follow us now.
Assalamu alaikum, brothers and sisters. Welcome back to Al Bayan Live. I am Abu Abdurrahman. We have our special guest, Sheikh Wael Ibrahim, with us tonight where we're discussing dealing with pornography. Sheikh, another stat you mentioned in your promotional video for this tour is that according to a Daily Mail newspaper, 4.6 million hours of porn were viewed on a popular website in 2016 alone. If that's one website...
Let me correct you, Sheikh. You said 4.6 million.
For half one, 4.6 billion.
Yes, so the correct statistics, as you mentioned, 4.6 billion hours of pornographic films, videos were watched on one website, very popular. Of course, I tend not to mention the name
of course.
In 2016 alone. Now, that's a huge number. That's a huge number, Sheikh. And there are billions of other websites. So if we actually made the statistics about how many hours we watch on other websites, then we will get an epidemic or more than epidemic number that we can't imagine. And we have here in Australia 23 million people only. If you divided the number of hours of pornography that was watched by the number of the people living in Australia, it's going to be like scary figure. So I urge the government, I urge the people in power to do something about it, because it's destroying children. It's corrupting the minds of the people. It's actually twisting the belief about sexual intimacy. It encourages violence to women. Because the people, we know, neuroscientists told us that the type of things that you watch impact your behavior. So when you watch these movies, they bring women and they tie them up and they beat them up, and then the husband will be watching these things. Then he go late at night with his wife and act out the same things that he sees in the movies, thinking that way will provide her some kind of pleasure, which is absolutely nonsense. So we need to move, and we need to move fast. Back in the days, they used to promote cigarettes, right? Commercialize cigarettes, which is done until now. But back in the days, they used to bring actors wearing the robes of, the white robe of a doctor, to say that he is smoking this brand, right? Because doctors are like, prestigious, work. So they bring doctors to promote cigarettes. Later on, when they knew the dangerous effect of cigarettes on the human bodies, now they made a label on it. Be careful, it can kill you, it can cause cancer. Today, we are moving toward that direction. People started to wake up. Therapists used to recommend sexual, images and pornographic films back in the 80s and the 90s to husbands and wives on the hope of enhancing the sexual ability. Those same people became addicted, and later on those 6 therapists say that it is dangerous. It is dangerous. Stay away from it. So we are coming there. So I hope that the governments will move. I hope that all the NGOs will move and make huge campaigns to warn people from the dangerous effect of pornography.
You mentioned their husbands and wives, and we know how important it is, how important marriage is in Islam.
Absolutely.
What are some of the effects that this kind of addiction or porn in general can have on a married couple, the husband and wife?
Number one, of course, as we know, as I said earlier, men and women are falling into the same trap of porn addiction. It's not only men. Of course, statistically, men are using pornography more than women, but women are not excluded. But once a woman discovered that her husband has anything to do with pornography, the first impact is her self-esteem is destroyed, her self-confidence. She start asking the question of what's wrong with me? Am I not good enough? She would feel like betrayed. And the advice I would give to husbands who are struggling with pornography is to open up to your wife. Go to your wife and tell her, I have a problem with pornography. I need your help. And she will help you. Because women have got, mashallah, big hearts. They will forgive and let go. Of course, the opposite is not necessarily true. So a wife who has any issue with addiction to this kind, she should open up to an expert, a coach, a counselor, a close friend. Because when you open to your husband, the reaction might be different and it could cause a lot of issues. So yes, Sheikh, this is something that, as I mentioned earlier, causes divorce, right?
No. Yeah. That's severe, and as we know, we mentioned before that sins in general remove blessings from one's life and cause anxiety and grief.
And changes also the expectation. Like the actors and the actresses in the movie, they are very well selected. They are selected for a reason, to get into your pocket, to bring you back again and again. So when you see a girl with that standard or a man with that standard, and then you look at your wife who is not exactly the same as this actor and that actress, then you lose interest in the halal intimacy that Allah had provided for you. You don't want to touch your wife anymore because she's not exactly like this actress. And this is a huge trap that Shaitan had prepared for us, brother. When I look at the story of Yusuf alayhi salam, when the wife of Al-Aziz locked the doors and locked the windows and put guards outside, no one comes in, no one goes out to seduce Yusuf and to bring him to zina, what did he do, brother? He ran to the opposite direction. But where are you going? The doors are all locked. Just run away from zina. Because zina is the first step towards disbelief. That's what the Prophet ﷺ said. It will take your iman away. You will be standing in prayer, and I challenge all those people who are listening to us today who have any issue with pornography, that they will confirm what I'm saying now. They say Allahu Akbar in Salah, and then the movies start playing in the brain. That's why I'm saying iman is not there anymore once you are into this. You don't have feelings for the Quran. You don't have feelings for the Salah. You're just acting. Apparently, you're a Muslim. The outer appearance, you're a Muslim. You've got beard, you've got niqab. You say Salaam Alaikum. You mention all these terms. But internally, you're dead. And you need to revive yourself by abstaining from this or seeking out help quickly, inshallah ta'ala.
And subhanAllah al-Azim, you mentioned that there, Iman is the most important thing for a believer.
Absolutely.
So if this is harming our Iman, we have to seek a way out of it. We have to seek help and a solution to get rid of this evil problem.
I just want to mention one thing also very important. Being an addict to pornography doesn't mean that you're a perverted person. Doesn't mean that you are a bad person. It means that somehow you were hooked on it and now you need to find a solution. If you remain there, hiding, pretending that you have no problem, thinking that you will solve the issue on your own later on, inshallah, and using inshallah in the wrong context, like inshallah means I don't know when, then this is going to be very sinful. Like you know that you needed help and you still, not reaching out. I'm here reaching you out, telling you that if you have a problem, come and talk to me. And there is a solution, there is a hope. You can get rid of it. And alhamdulillah, we have evidence. I have dealt with over 200 people, alhamdulillah, in the past 8 years or so, who alhamdulillah are doing fantastic work.
Excellent. Inshallah, we'll speak about that at the end of the program, how
Inshallah.
they can seek help and how you can assist them, inshallah.
Amen.
Now, one final question before we wrap up and speak about your book and some of your details, if people want to reach out, inshallah, is in terms of Islamic institutions, organizations and centers, how should they address the topic? How should they educate about the topic and raise awareness of this topic?
Same as educational institutes that we talked about earlier, schools, universities, Islamic institutions, organizations, even masajid, they could also reach me out. They know me, alhamdulillah, a little bit, and we can organize events in their places. We can invite their community and address it seriously, because I know that the Muslim community normally feel or think about the issue as a taboo. Avoid it. But in my opinion, if we avoid talking about pornography, then we will never be able to find a solution to it. We will never be able to help those people who are screaming in silence. I was in Malaysia one time in a conference that was attended by about 3,000, and I speak about 20 minutes about pornography addiction. That same night, Sheikh, by the time I went to the hotel room, 299 emails are in my inbox seeking help. But this wouldn't have been the case if I did not speak about pornography. And I'm only one single man. So I need everyone in the community to support this project.
What I'd like to point out as well is that those people reaching out, those brothers and sisters reaching out, it's actually a good sign. It shows that the iman is there, that they actually want help.
Absolutely, Sheikh. And I'm really commending them. And I always congratulate them as soon as I see emails, starting with, I need help, I have a problem with pornography, I've been addicted for many years, and I fear for my children, I fear for my wife, and so on. The first sentence I mentioned in the email, congratulations that you have reached me out. This is 50% of the cure already. That you wanted some help. You just don't know where to start. This is the beginning.
Barakallah fiqh, Sheikh. Now, I would like to ask you about your book, Beat It.
Yeah.
50 plus shades of hope.
No.
What's it contain? How can they purchase it?
I was just stressed out. There are many people offering 50 shades of confusions and 50 shades of foolishness and 50 shades of this and that. And I was like, those people even inviting you to delve further into your addiction by these filthy stories. So I thought that there is hope out there. Islam is offering you this. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, do not despair in the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Whatever you have done, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala have got a solution for you. So let me compile something and offer it to the community. So we came up with this 50 plus shades of hope, because if there is only 50 something that is inviting you to foolishness, there is more than that is offered by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So I came up with this based on the experience that I had with many addicts in the past. So I compiled 12 chapters on written in a journey style, like a journey, how to begin, how to start out the journey, how to warm up as you progress with the journey, how to deal with relapses, because many people will quit for a period of time and then they will go back again into the same cycle. So when this happens, which is expected, how you should deal with it, how to reach out to some mentors, coaches, experts, and so on and so forth. This book was written for the general public, so it's not written from Islamic perspective, meaning I didn't mention Quranic verses, I didn't mention hadith, but it is all based on Islam. And that's why in the course that was delivered last Saturday, it was also based on that book, but we included all the ayat, we included all the hadith, all the stories from the seerah, because I need to also be an active member, not only to help my brothers and sisters in faith, I also wanted to help humanity at large, because this is part of my faith, this is part of the mission of the Prophet ﷺ.
Barakallah fiqh, Sheikh. How can we purchase the book?
I'm not here to sell the book, Sheikh, but...
No, we want to know. Maybe someone wants to know how the book can be purchased online, at a bookstore.
At the moment, it's just through email. So if you could email me, you wanted to buy the book, it will be shipped from WA to your address.
Email it, Sheikh.
It's Wael, Wael, at Wael, Wael, dash Ibrahim, Ibrahim.com.
We'll give him the easy way out. You are on Facebook.
Yeah, but I don't normally respond to messages on Facebook frequently, so the best option to reach me and get a quick response is through email.
Excellent. So if someone does want help, the best way is via email.
Yeah, and the book is available in both format. A physical copy can be shipped, or a PDF if you prefer to read in the privacy of your cell phone.
Sheikh, sadly, we've come towards the end of tonight's program on Al Bayan Live. Is there any final advice you would like to give to our brothers and sisters listening and to the wider community?
I just wanted to mention one very important thing, and that is, if we started obeying Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in all aspects, like throughout the Quran and the teaching of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, if we start really obeying Allah and making Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as our first priority, then simultaneously our iman will increase, will improve. And nothing could beat your iman. Nothing at all. Yani look at the companions of the Prophet ﷺ, how they used to obey and listen to the Prophet ﷺ. When he was leading the salah during one of the battles in his shoes, and while he was praying, he removed the shoes, and the companions were also in the shoes. They started removing their shoes. And logically, they were supposed to ask him, why did you remove the shoes during the salah, right? Because he started the act. But it was, no one actually opened their mouth. It was he who asked them, why did you remove the shoes? And the response was beautiful. They say, we saw you removing it, we remove it. We remove it. So they didn't have a reason to argue and say why and so on and so forth. If we could learn to obey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala without, these hassles of asking why hijab is this, why cigarette is haram, why still Muslims are asking this.
Yes.
Wallahi, our iman will improve, will increase. And if we could work on our iman, if we could implant iman in the hearts of our children, nothing could beat them up, including pornography.
Jazakallah khair, Sheikh. Thank you for being with us and for the tour that you presented over the weekend. Inshallah, we can have you once again very soon, inshallah.
Jazakallah khair for having me. May Allah bless you and reward all the listeners.
Wayakum, barakallah fiqh. Now, the brothers and sisters who just joined in or would like to listen to this again, we'll be uploading this program of Al Bayan Live later on tonight. You can listen on our YouTube page, our podcast, and iTunes as well, or you can find it on our Facebook page, Al Bayan Radio. I thank Sheikh Wael one more time and all the listeners who tuned in. Barakallah fikum. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
فبالله كم تستطب القروح ويبرأ جروح الكثير الجريح وينشط ذاك السقيم العليل وقد كان بالسقم دهرا طريح